I'm your host this evening. My name is Chris Kulak, Vice President, Chief of Strategy and Development here at the Visiting Nurse Association. I'd just like to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Grab your programs. I'm sure you guys have all had a glass of wine. Get another one. We're going to let a few more people join our Zoom call, and we'll be back to you guys in about a minute. Thanks. Well, hello. Hello again, and thanks if you're still joining us. This is the second annual Cocktails in the Kitchen. I'm your host this evening. My name is Chris Kulak, Vice President, Chief of Strategy and Development here at the Visiting Nurse Association, and we're just very excited and grateful to have you joining us tonight. You know, it's been an amazing year. I think everybody has their own experiences over the last year during the pandemic, and as we sort of thought about what this event would look like after last year's event, 12 months later, we really thought, how can we pull this off? And it's really from not just our staff, but our leadership of this event tonight that helped us do that. So I want to just have our co-chairs wave, Florin and Jason Bender, Louise and Charles Marsh. Just want to say thank you. Really could not have done this event without you. You guys helped us sort of create an event that was, really safe, exciting. I think everyone that's received their food from Chef Jules and their package has been just really exciting. So we're going to have a great event tonight, a lot of fun. Andrew Hagar and Shelly Hudson, really thank you for being our honorary chairs this year. When we thought about who we were going to honor, you two are perfect for this because you've been a part of this event for 11 years. You've really been the heart and soul almost of this event for that many years. We could not have done Celebrity Chef without the food company, without all the hard work you guys have put into it. Really, and about you're just a support of the Visiting Nurse Association. We are amazingly grateful for that. So thank you. We're honored to have you with us this evening. And the host committee, you guys have done amazing work. We really appreciate you inviting all your friends, all of your partners to kind of join us tonight. Really, the support of this event has been great. So last year, we raised about $20,000. This year, we've raised a little more than 27. And so to think that a virtual event, we've even raised more, and I think that's a big tribute to everybody on the host committee. So thank you for that. And then really finally, I think that certainly last but not certainly least, Chef Jules, we're just super honored to have you tonight, my friend. It's been an amazing ride. You've been part of this event for the last year as we've planned this. You've done great work. We're really excited to see your demo, hear your stories tonight. We're just really grateful you're here with us.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, thanks. And just cheers to everybody that's joining us. Thank you for your support of the Visiting Nurse Association. Thank you for supporting the seniors we serve here in North Texas. Very grateful. Thank you.
He's wearing that hat.
So to kind of kick off our festivities tonight, I want to introduce you, Catherine Krause.
Introduce him, and then he's
President
left.
and CEO.
He's wearing that hat.
And she's got
He's wearing Dolly what he had on.
To show you. Take it away, Catherine.
Okay, here's your.
Welcome to the second annual and first virtual Cocktails in the Kitchen event featuring Chef Julian Barsotti. I'm Catherine Krause, President and CEO of the Visiting Nurse Association of Texas. I'd like to take a moment to share the VNA mission and how we have delivered hope to the most vulnerable in our community for the last 87 years, and in particular, the last 12 months. At our core, the Visiting Nurse Association provides care
Let's put this on the toast and then toast
for
it.
homebound seniors across North Texas. At our core lie thousands of
Spread it on the brioche. Yeah, shrimp toast.
people aged with dignity and independence at home. Our team provides hospice and palliative care, nutritious home delivered meals, and a personal connection for our clients to help combat loneliness and improve overall health. We've been at the front lines of community-based care since 1934. We deliver meals to more than 4,500 homebound seniors and thousands more at area senior centers and homeless shelters, nourishing bodies and souls. Daily, we care for more than 300 hospice and palliative care patients at a sacred time at end of life. Throughout VNA's history, the compassionate care we provide has been unwavering, even amidst a global pandemic. Thanks to you and the generosity of so many in our community, we've been able to hold strong, delivering on our mission each and every day. At the beginning of COVID, we quickly adjusted the Meals on Wheels delivery schedule to protect those we serve and volunteers and staff, while still providing a week's worth of meals and serving as a lifeline to homebound seniors through virtual deliveries, which essentially are wellness calls made by volunteers. The outpouring of support from our community makes me extremely proud to be part of this community. From generous donations to take more seniors off of the waiting list for Meals on Wheels, to handmade greeting cards, sewing masks, and supplying PPE, you have delivered hope to isolated seniors and seriously ill patients. Thank you. Our clinical hospice and palliative care operations continued with staff making in-person and telehealth visits and providing interdisciplinary care to meet patients' needs. Our music therapists provided much needed companionship, therapy, and support to patients, caregivers, and staff with front porch concerts and singing telegrams. It was all hands on deck last summer and spring. And once again, during the snowstorm, and with hospice aides, social workers, and chaplains delivering meals and calling to check on our homebound elderly. As part of our continuum of care, we administered 500 in-home flu shots to help our clients and community members stay healthy. Recently, we began partnerships with Texas Division of Emergency Management, the Texas National Guard, and the local fire and rescue departments to administer COVID-19 vaccines in the homes of our Meals on Wheels clients. The clients we serve through Meals on Wheels are the most vulnerable in our community, especially when it comes to COVID-19. They are elderly and homebound, do not have access to technology for scheduling most of the time, suffer from multiple chronic conditions, and reside in areas most impacted by the pandemic. We connect with the elderly in our community every day, bringing hope, food, resources, and now this life-saving vaccine. The nourishment, body and soul we provide through your generous support is even more important as we continue to face the uncertainty of the pandemic. At 83, Meals on Wheels client Ollie is now retired after working in Dallas County Food Service for 27 years and another 3 with the Salvation Army. Her heart for service continues as she cares for her bedbound son, who is also a recipient of Meals on Wheels. Ollie enjoys both the people and the food from Meals on Wheels. These folks are just so friendly and the food is good too, says Ollie. I know how hard it is to cook good food for a bunch of people, and you guys do it right. When asked about how the pandemic has impacted her, she shares, I know God has a plan, but I don't understand it. I've lived through an awful lot in my life, but I don't think I've ever experienced something that has hurt so many people all over the world. I keep praying for this vaccine or a cure so that people like myself and my son will be okay. Ollie has a strong faith and is grateful for the visits, the food, the cards, the care and the love provided by VNA. Thank you for your support and for joining us as we celebrate the work we've done together, and we look forward to the future with hope as we continue to deliver and care for those in need. Thanks to you.
Thank you, Catherine. Really appreciate that. It was a really great video about just all the great work the VNA does. Really appreciate you doing that for us. Now, I just wanted to say thank you again to all of our board members, all the staff, all of our volunteers, and of course, all of our many donors that have just really supported us over the last year. It's been an interesting year, but without your support, we could not have continued to support the seniors we do in North Texas. So I just wanted to say thank you. And now I'd like to introduce once again our co-chairs for the evening. Florin and Jason Bender, Louise and Charles Marsh, take it away.
Hello, everyone, and thank you. And thank you so much for coming tonight to support the VNA and Cocktails in the Kitchen. Florin and I are just so grateful to you all, and an especially big thank you to Chris Kulak and Catherine Krause for spearheading this meaningful organization day in and day out, and especially during these difficult times. And also to Jules Barsotti for whipping up his fabulous food for all of us to enjoy. And most of all, a big, big thank you to all of our wonderful committee hosts who really made this night happen.
We're thrilled to be able to introduce so many new faces to the VNA. As you may know, and as you just heard from Catherine Krause, VNA provides critical services in Dallas, including nutritious, freshly prepared meals 5 days a week for in-need seniors at their homes, and compassionate, comforting care through its hospice program. VNA is the most experienced hospice provider in Texas. We are so honored to be a very small part of this great organization. It's been personally meaningful to Louise and I and to our children to deliver Meals on Wheels together. On one of our Meal on Wheels deliveries with our children, one of our young boys remarked how great it made him feel to help. And Louise and I could not agree more. We would love for you guys to join us on a delivery route.
Enjoy your evening and Jules's delicious food, and we hope to see you all tomorrow for Celebrity Chef. And cheers to the VNA.
Cheers. Thank you so much to our
Enjoy your
committee.
evening. Yes, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Florin, Jason, Louise, and Charles. Really appreciate that. I think as everybody can kind of see from the cameras, we're inside our kitchen tonight. In the last year's event, we had everybody had the chance to sort of walk through and get a tour, so we thought we'd do a little virtual tour. So this is our tray line. It is one of the machines that we've got two of these. These are the machines that help us make, if you've delivered meals before, you've seen the little black plastic container that all the meals come in. These machines, they run these tray lines. It makes about 30 of those meals a minute, and they run these through and then put them into the coolers. And so these are two very important pieces of machinery we have here. They roughly cost about $60,000 each. So you can see that, you know, it's pretty industrial type stuff. Over here, we have 11 different ovens. During Thanksgiving, to give an example of the amount of food these guys could cook, is that during Thanksgiving, we cook about 780 pounds of turkey and about 800 pounds of cornbread dressing and all of these. So they're rocking and rolling that morning. Our kitchen staff gets here about 4 to 5 o'clock in the morning and starts preparing for the meals that they're going to make that day. We do about 6,500 meals a day out of this kitchen. And that's to our Meals on Wheels clients. That's to the senior centers we support. And then we also support the City of Dallas Office of Homeless Solutions and some of their work. So you get an idea of how big and how large this is. Over here, we've got, I think it's 7 different kettles that can cook vegetables. I think it's 400 pounds of vegetables. And then we've got some tilt skillets here in the back. It's just a really an industrial sized kitchen for the amount of work that we do each day serving seniors in need in North Texas. So, of course, this is a virtual tour. We would love to give you guys an in-person tour. And as you feel safe enough to come back and do that, on your program in the back is a phone number. You can call that, ask for Chris, ask for Jennifer, anybody. We would love to give you a personal tour of our kitchen, give you a little bit more in-depth walkthrough and explain some things in a much different way than virtual, but we certainly would love to do that for you, so let us know. So before we see Chef's demo and hear some great stories, we've already been talking about that before we started, we've got a couple of poll questions. We're going to ask one now and one later. So the poll question we have now, and there'll be some multiple choice answers pop up on your screen, and it is, What year was the Visiting Nurse Association of Texas founded? Wait for the results. All right. So that's right. The Visiting Nurse Association was founded in 1934 to care for the desperate need of health care in Dallas during the Depression. Temple Emmanuel, Highland Park, Visiting Nurse Association got together and really began providing care to women and children in West Dallas. That was primarily where the tent cities were at that time in our city. So thank you for participating in our poll, and hopefully many of you got that question right. We're going to have one more, as I said, here later. And then remember, if you have any questions for Jules and I, just pop that into the chat, in the chat little feature on Zoom, and type those questions in. We're going to do a little question and answer later in the program. And now I think really what we've all been waiting for. I think over the last year, we've been calling him a rock star because he kind of has that vibe a little bit. So Chef Julian, you know, many of you guys probably know or have been to his restaurants. Many of you have probably experienced them before and during the pandemic. Just really, it's been amazing to work with you and your staff, great people, and just take it away.
Thank you. Ciao, buonasera, friends at home. First, I'd like to thank Robin, Chris, Julie, and Catherine. Over the last several months, you guys have truly been amazing to work with. There's been no sort of friction. Everyone's been fluid and optimistic about this unique set of circumstances for our virtual VNA event this year. I would also like to thank my mother, Shelly Hudson, Andrea Hager, and Honor Aiken, and the rest of the team at Nona and Food Company. They truly treated me like the celebrity chef that I've seen over the last several years from the periphery. They did all of the grunt work, basically heavy lifting, and they let me do the easy stuff, which is communicate this to you guys. I'm really honored to be the celebrity chef for this year's event because I do think the VNA does important and virtuous work. It goes without saying that this year has been challenging. I would say the most tumultuous of my particular life. And I think it really does highlight, though, how important it is to take care of the hospice work that the VNA does with seniors and the Meals on Wheels program. But not only is the VNA's mission great, and I've always heard about the reputation of how well run the organization is and how effective they are. And I've gotten to see firsthand over the last several months just how good they are at what they do. So they asked me to talk a little bit about my own experience during the pandemic. Like everybody, it's been a roller coaster. I feel like in the restaurant business, it was particularly challenging, and we've just kind of attacked it from the beginning and tried to rely on our center of gravity, which is great culture. I truly love all of the people I work with, and trying to create great food and hopefully bring some joy to people while they were holed up at their homes during quarantine. Some of the things that we have tried to do are one of the early improvisations that we made was create a delivery service called Rita's and Queso that I'm guessing most of you guys have tried. The original idea came from my friend Glenn Collins, and it was simply to deliver to people Dallas's unique comfort food of chips and queso and margaritas. And since then, we've launched another business called Grape Ape or Grape Ape that essentially delivers the same type of experience, but with Italian food. For those of you guys who don't know me, I'm for the most part born and raised in Dallas, went to school in the Midwest, and then moved to San Francisco to pursue my love of cooking. In San Francisco, I was able to work under some incredible chefs as well as in Berkeley and Oakland. And in late 2006, at the age of 27, decided to move back here and pitch the idea of opening a restaurant that celebrated regional Italian cuisine, which I just didn't see in this market. And I had so much passion for it and loved the food so much, and I'd had incredible experience. So that was kind of the blind idea. And since then, I feel like Nona has been, which opened in 2007, has continued to evolve and always stayed true to its mission of cooking with the spirit of within the regions of Italy. Since Nona, I've opened Carbone's, which is an Italian-American casual restaurant, Sprezza, a Roman trattoria, and most recently, Ficini, which is a fancy red sauce joint. I've also partnered with American Airlines as one of their partner chefs for first class in the United States. This kitchen reminds me of my American Airlines days, and worked with Central Market as a consulting chef for their Passport Italy. I have some exciting projects this year, and one that's especially pertinent to the meal you guys are hopefully enjoying tonight. I've always been driven and had intellectual curiosity about Italy and how different the cuisines are within the country. Something I identified early on, and I'm a nerd about it. Most people think of Italian food as spaghetti and meatballs, but as you dig into true Italian food, no Italians eat spaghetti and meatballs. That only exists here. And it is fascinating to me how old the country is and how different the food is from region to region. So you have a country that was unified in the late 19th century, yet you have places like Rome and Naples that are thousands of years old. People identify as Venetian or Milano much more than they do as Italian. I feel like the only thing from my own experience that unifies them is the soccer team or the football team, as they would say. So tonight, your kit is based off of a particular regional cuisine specific to Venezia, Venice, which is called Bacari. It's existed since the 1300s, predating the great United States and the discovery of the New World. And the basic idea of it, several years ago, I'd researched it and read about it, but the easiest way to explain it is they're almost like Italian tapas bars, very casual. Late in the afternoon, Venetians and tourists gather in these communal spots, and it's a celebration of aperitif and snacks, AKA cocktailing. And the first time that I experienced it, it was cool. You point at things, you have coupes of cocktails, Prosecco, they hand you snacks. It was just such a unique way of eating that I hadn't seen anywhere else in Italy. And my idea was to try to harness that and get inspired by that in our own, in Dallas. And since then at Nona, we've explored the idea of ciceti and Bacari in various ways on the menu. We called it spuntini or snacks. And a few years ago, the space beside us became available, and we decided to take it. It was PK's before us, but before that, it was a restaurant called Strictly Taboo that I feel like everyone I talked to that went there, it was open for 40 plus years. It was a jazz bar that served pizza, So the idea of the restaurant that we're going to open, hopefully this year, it's been delayed and delayed and delayed, is to do our own version of Baccari and ciceti. And we're going to call it Baccari Taboo, in homage to Baccari, the Venetian Baccari and ciceti, and to Strictly Taboo. So think dark, a well-appointed bar with a very dense Italian wine list, and then pristine snacks that we're going to cook. I think the mediums of cooking are going to make it unique. We have a wood-burning grill, cold items, fried items, and then we're using a yakitori Japanese grill that we're going to burn binchotan charcoal. So like, for example, this time of year, we would have, beautiful asparagus from Weatherford, just perfectly grilled, tossed with a farm egg and Parmigiano Reggiano and some spicy greens. So pristine, true to the nature of the cuisine, but kind of our own take on it. So for my demo tonight, I am going to do one of the dishes that you have in your kit. And this is based off of something I ate years ago on one of my first trips to Venice at a restaurant called Da Fiore. And I feel like this is a great example of how Italian food, it's been much, I feel like this quote in some way or another has been communicated many times, but you're 75% of the way there if you're using great ingredients. And Italian food is about less is more, simplicity, and leaving it alone. So tonight's dish, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate. And then if you guys are truly interested in this, email the restaurant info@nona.com and I can give you the true recipe. It really is very easy. So first thing I'm going to do is cut up some Gulf shrimp. I feel like in the idea of, I've always thought about, as opposed to trying to cook directly food from a place like this dish that I ate at Da Fiore was langoustine that came from the lagoon in Venice. And we obviously maybe could source that, but by the time it got here from thousands of miles away, I think that you're kind of missing the point. I've always felt like authenticity is bound by people and place, and you're being more true to the spirit of authenticity if you use the ingredients that you have available to you. Gulf shrimp to me is one of the great American seafoods. So coarsely chop this up. You can chop it finer if you like. It's very Italian not to do it perfect. Next step is to add butter, a generous amount. Next, I'm going to take rosemary, and using rosemary was something that was kind of revelatory to me in eating at a few places in Venice. I've always thought of it as being too strong of an herb to pair with seafood, but it really does work beautifully in this circumstance. Chop up your rosemary. Add your butter and shrimp. Next, some chives. Chives in the bowl. Salt. Mix. finito. Then we've got this beautiful brioche bread that we baked in-house, specifically Scott, our pastry chef. Slice 2 pieces of this. And then you simply spread it on the brioche. Be nice and generous with my portion here. And then via the magic of the VNA Kitchen, we'll finish the dish. I'm gonna set this aside as well. Here are 2 finished pieces that hopefully, like you did at home, you baked in the oven for 10 minutes. I'm gonna finish it with a little bit of these petite spicy greens. Meyer lemon, that is one of the treats of this time of year. And a touch of extra virgin olive oil, arbequeña. And it is finished. Chris?
All right. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Oh. Wow.
Delicious.
We'll just save mine for later. No, it's great. Thank you, Chef. Really
You're welcome.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy
So
to be here.
I know we've got one more poll question, right, Jennifer? That's coming up next. So you talked a little bit about, all your concepts that you're part of. And really, I think one that a lot of people learned about during the pandemic, at least a lot of my friends used it, was Rita's and Queso, right? I mean, that's been a huge success.
Really been resonant.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
People dig it.
Yeah. So I learned you kind of you were telling us a little bit about this over the last year. So you've delivered 5,000 gallons of margaritas.
That is correct.
Right. So the poll question is, how many pounds of queso has been delivered? And so you'll see some options on your screen here in a second. See how many pounds of queso. So, and now we're tallying. People are putting in their answers. So, all right, Chef, what's the answer?
So the question was, how many pounds of queso have we sold during the pandemic? The answer is 10,000 pounds of liquid gold. Has been approximately, according to my mathematics.
Your quick math is happening. Yeah. That's perfect. That's great. So now that's a cool story, and I really think it's a lot of people have enjoyed that this year. So thanks again.
Of course.
And I know we're going to take a couple of questions, right? Jennifer, I don't know if anybody has any questions for Chef or myself.
Where's your new restaurant going to be located?
So where'd you get the name Grape Ape? The Grape Ape, also known in Italian as Grape Ape. They're these cool vehicles that are essentially 3-wheeled Vespas with flatbeds that are used to deliver food, wine, alcohol, and hopefully at some point in the future, we're going to get our own. You can get them in the United States, but they have to be like 1992 or older. And we've been working on getting one. I think it'll be fun. That'd be great. Cool. Great.
Where's your new restaurant going to be?
Tell us about your newest concept.
I spoke to it just a little while ago, Bakari Taboo. I'm really excited about it. I mean, it's taken a long, long time to get this thing open, and we're still in the process of making that happen. But I think it's there's nothing that kind of exists like it. I feel like in the Dallas market, like I spoke to the idea of Venetian tapas, and then with really pristine mediums of cooking, dark environment. We have a little stage there that will hopefully occasionally be able to have some live jazz played in there, homage to the Taboo Room. And I just generally, it's like everything that we've had a chance to do, something that I truly love and am passionate about, and hopefully we can communicate it in a way that people dig. It'll be connected to the Nona space too, which I think will be fun.
Great.
Where's the new restaurant going to be?
It is right next to Nona in the former Taboo space. And then after that, it was PK's Liquor. So the two spaces will be connected. So it'll be Nona on one side and then Bakari Taboo on the other side of the wall.
Here's a good one. What do you make for dinner at home?
Yeah.
On a rare night you might be there.
So yeah, what are you making at dinner at home? Mac and cheese or?
No, I have the opportunity to cook at home pretty often. I work with some great people that after all these years that allow me to go home for the most part at night. I love to cook at home. I mean, we do simple pastas, Tex-Mex, but I would say the most consistent meal is the Sunday Italian meal at my house. And that's usually ragu, typical antipasto, and Caesar salad. And it's just one of those things that I've make over time. And I love the aroma of ragu as it simmers for hours in your house. And there's something about the idea of eating that on Sunday that is special to me. And I think my family, it's one of the few meals I can get everyone to eat. So that's especially advantageous.
That's great. That's great. That's great.
Have you been watching Stanley Tucci's series on CNN?
How VNA is delivered through the pandemic.
Okay. So the question was how we've delivered through the pandemic. So, really in last March, April, when the pandemic kind of really hit us, we, as most of you might know, we utilize volunteers and staff to deliver our meals. So really as the pandemic came in and as everything began to shut down, and there were kind of the shutdown orders, and really it was around trying to make sure that people stayed safe, we went to kind of an all staff model. We did that for a couple of months. We delivered about once a week for a while. Then we moved to twice a week. Now we're back to using volunteers. We have a lot of volunteers that are coming back and helping us, which is great and super important to the work that we do, because it is that social connection. The meal is amazingly important, but it's really about that knock on the door, checking on the person, saying hello, seeing how they're doing, which is a big part of what all Meals on Wheels programs are. Right now we do 2 days a week. Starting in April, we'll do 3, and we'll kind of roll back in most likely, probably in the late summer, to probably back to 5 days a week, just depending on how everything goes. But volunteers and our donors and staff have been an amazing part of everything that we've done over the last year. So great question.
All right, here's one for you, Jules. Did you watch the recent Stanley Tucci show, Searching for Italy?
Everyone keeps asking me that, and I really got to get on it. It reminds me of how for years people asked me if I'd seen Big Night,
Right.
and I hadn't. And I made one of my favorite things to make is timpano, which I guess is a thematic to the movie. And now that I'm thinking, Stanley Tucci is in that movie, so
Right.
I'll get on it. I have not seen it. Everyone's been talking
Kinda
about
add that
it.
to the Netflix
Yeah,
list,
I will
yeah.
add that to the list for sure.
What's your favorite pasta to make, and what's the hardest pasta to make?
Great questions. My favorite pasta, and it would maybe be my last meal, is linguine vongole, linguine with clams. And I feel like I spoke earlier about taste memories, and I've eaten that a few times on the Mediterranean coast with these tiny thumbnail clams that are like, I feel like you get like 100 of them in your plate of vongole, and briny, sweet, delicious. So you kind of try to chase that taste memory, and that's one of it when it's right, it's one of my very favorite things to eat. Maybe my would be my last meal. Most difficult pasta to make, I'm trying to think because I mean I've just made I make pasta so often. If you're like handmade pastas are extremely difficult. Like trophy, which is I guess that would be one that I've had a hard time making. It's typical to the Ligurian coast and eaten with pesto genovese. So it's a pasta that's literally completely made by hand. You make the dough by hand, and then in order to get that twirly shape, you have to do this like finesse move with the outside of your hand to the inside. And I've never been with like someone personally making it, but I've like watched all of these YouTube videos of grandmothers in Liguria making it, and they make it look so easy, and it's very, very difficult.
All right. What are your top 3 must-have pantry essentials?
Parmigiano Reggiano for sure. Good dried semolina pasta and butter. There's a meal right there.
Okay.
Chris, are there any volunteer opportunities for families?
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, families can deliver regular meals, but I think one of the ones where we have a lot of families come out and deliver is we do a pet delivery once a month. So we have about I think it's 500 pet clients and 300 actual clients, Meals on Wheels clients. And it's a perfect opportunity for families to come out. It's on Saturday. It's once a month. So if you go to our website, you can see how to sign up for that. It's a great, it's a easy, we deliver pet food to clients who have pets and have a need for additional food resources. It's a really fun event. And I mean, any age kids can do that event with their parents.
Have you been watching?
Well, I think that's
Stanley?
it.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks again,
Yeah,
Chef.
thank you.
Really appreciate it. Thanks again for everybody for joining us. Thanks to all of our ticket buyers, all of the donors tonight, everybody that supported this event. Really grateful. We look forward to seeing you in person next year. And I hope everybody has a wonderful night. Thank you again for supporting the Visiting Nurse Association. Have a great night. Take care.